So what exactly is the K1 visa for? This might be exactly what you are looking for. Couples in international relationships looking to reunite in the U.S., the K1 visa allows a U.S. citizen to bring their fiancé to the U.S. and they must marry within 90 days of entry. Welcome to my channel. I'm the Philam Coach, and I have been assisting couples since 2003. Please follow us or subscribe and click the notification bell to get the latest USCIS news. Step 1. Filing Form I-129F, Petition for Alien Fiancé. The U.S. citizen must file Form I-129F with USCIS to start the K1 visa process. Now pay close attention as the items mentioned are not always understood. Gathering required documents such as proof of U.S. citizenship, evidence of the relationship, photos, chats, travel tickets, and proof of intent to marry within 90 days. Step 2. USCIS processing and approval. The very first thing that all couples will undergo is how the USCIS reviews the petition, checks for eligibility, and may request additional information known as an RFE. Depending on your case, USCIS could process the couple faster than others. This depends on several factors. Here are the top reasons for the couple's I-129F application to be held up, as they go through different channels to be checked out before a decision has been made. Are there any previous marriages? Are there any criminal convictions? If USCIS finds everything in order and sees that the couple meets the qualifications, USCIS will approve them. After USCIS approval, the case is sent to the National Visa Center, also known as NVC, and then to the appropriate U.S. embassy, for example, Manila for the Philippines. However, if your I-129F application is found to have missing documents or is insufficient, for example, missing documents, incorrect or missing answers, wrong or incorrect address, dates, or misspelled answers for additional information, all could lead to receiving a request for additional information, a letter known as RFE. Using forms that are expired can also lead to rejection. Step 3. National Visa Center. NVC. The role of NVC. The National Visa Center's role is processing and assigning a case number to the U.S. Embassy. NVC typically sends instructions and a checklist to the beneficiary known as the foreign fiancé about what documents to prepare. Now, typically this part could take up to 6 weeks, depending on which consulate your beneficiary will be attending, as well as other factors like how busy the consulate is at that time. Step 4. Preparing for the consular interview. Documents required: a valid passport, birth certificate, police clearance, and medical exam. K1 and K2 children need a passport with a minimum of 6 months validity on it. Filipino citizens need a PSA birth certificate. Filipinos will be required from age 16 and above to provide an NBI clearance, also known as the National Bureau of Investigation. K1 and K2 Filipinos must attend St. Luke's Medical Center to obtain a certificate of medical exam. Financial support. The affidavit of support, also known as Form I-134, to show financial stability. You will be required to show the interviewer the sponsor's I-134 affidavit of support to determine that your sponsor meets the USCIS poverty guidelines. Things such as checking account statements, W-2 tax statements, 1040 IRS tax returns, if needed, additional records of assets, ownership of a home or land, a 401k, U.S. savings account, or stocks, etc. Every case is different. You may have more or less requirements imposed on you than what I already mentioned. Often the process gets held up and the couple does not know what else is needed. It is highly advisable that you seek professional help. Contact me to save time and money. Step 5. The consular interview. What really happens in your K1 visa interview? You've completed all the paperwork and survived the waiting game. Now it's time for the consular interview. This is where you'll face questions to prove your relationship and confirm your marriage intentions. But what questions can you expect and how should you prepare? Let's break it down so you go in confident and ready. It's time to shine and prove your love story is the real deal. At your K1 visa interview, the consular officer will ask questions about your relationship, engagement, and future plans. We'll go over the key points they'll ask about and how you can best answer to make sure your relationship is clearly understood. Did you know the consular officer may dive deep into the details of your relationship? From how you met to the wedding plans, they'll be assessing your relationship to confirm it's genuine. Stay tuned for a walkthrough of what to expect and how to present your story with confidence. After all the paperwork, it all comes down to the interview. This is where the beneficiary's answers about your relationship will determine if they are granted the visa. Let's talk about what the consular officer is looking for and how you can make your case compelling. Worried about what they'll ask at your K1 visa interview? Well, you're not alone. Here are some tips to showcase your relationship and how to make sure both you and your fiance feel prepared. Get ready to ace the final steps in your visa journey. Let's think of your relationship as a Facebook timeline of events. Having a scrapbook with about 20 of your best photos together can help interviewers to not only hear what you're saying, but see it. Bringing a scrapbook with good quality photos with the date and captions briefly explaining where the couple is can make things more believable. Most couples do not know where the interviewer is getting their questions and answers from. The interviewer will have a complete copy of your I-129F application and other letters that were submitted to USCIS. If the sponsor has been married once or had multiple marriages, then the interviewer could revolve around asking questions about the previous marriages. If the sponsor had any criminal convictions, then questions could revolve around those also. If the sponsor filed applications for other fiancés in the past, those could be questioned as well. If the sponsor seems to hop around from job to job and the record shows it, then most likely you will be asked questions about it, his employment, and perhaps income also. Interviewers just want to make sure that the alien fiancé is aware of the sponsor's background and that you are not in the dark about any of these things. Step 6. Entering the U.S. on a K1 visa. Once the visa is issued, the fiancé has 6 months to enter the U.S. and then must marry the U.S. citizen sponsor within 90 days. Remember that the K1 visa is for single entry only and is intended strictly for marriage within that time frame. If you fail to marry within the first 90 days, you will be required to leave. If you marry someone else other than your sponsor, you'll be facing adjustment of status problems. If you leave the U.S. after just arriving, whether for a family emergency or a vacation to another country, you'll be denied entry back into the U.S. If you face a situation, then you're advised to get professional counseling. Step 7. Getting married and applying for adjustment of status. Once married, your alien fiancé, now wife, must undergo the adjustment of status. Form I-485, which allows the fiancé to apply for a green card after marriage. Other forms they may need could be employment authorization, Form I-765 for a work permit, and advanced parole, Form I-131 for travel. Now, you are no longer a K1 fiancé after you get married, so you are now climbing the immigration ladder. Once approved, the foreign spouse becomes a conditional permanent resident. This is valid for 2 years. Step 8. Removing conditions and long-term residency. 90 days before your 2-year conditional resident card expires, the couple files to remove conditions, Form I-751. The married couple must prove that they indeed are living under the same roof and that their marriage is bona fide. If approved, this grants a 10-year green card, making them a permanent resident. That's all for now. If you like this video, let us know and follow us or subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.